I want to see more Republican reactions to the DOJ filing, though. That is so much more fun to cover than anything else, really. Because like when CNN covers it, it's like, oh yeah, whatever, Trump, oh my God, he's going to jail. Like he stole documents and he wanted to give it to Saudi Arabia.
And they're doing all of this to keep people on the platforms.
Boring. When Fox News does it, on the other hand, it's like they're fucking full-blown meltdown mode. Oh, here it is.
Tomorrow, federal judge Eileen Cannon will hear arguments. The Trump team says, yes, they want a special master. They'll be in court. Representatives from DOJ say we are way past that point. Not going to happen. Doesn't want it to happen. Again, that court hearing tomorrow, 1 p.m. in West Palm Beach, Florida. Martha.
Okay. Thank you very much, David Spunt. So former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker was once responsible for all FBI criminal investigations. And he joins me now. Chris, great to have you with us. Your analysis of this story all the way through has been really helpful to all of us. What was your reaction to this filing last night and its contents?
Yeah, I think all along I would stipulate that there's a high probability that the president's or ex-president and his people were improperly storing documents that had a high classification. I don't think that's anything new. You know, what I would dispute is, was that the least intrusive means of solving the problem? You know, this actually, you know, there are civil remedies there. You can move for contempt in terms of not complying with the grand jury subpoena. You could continue the negotiations. You know, I didn't see any urgency from the time that the National Archives folks were negotiating up till the time that the search warrant was executed. There didn't seem to be some drop dead date or some, you know, someone was actually in there taking the information and using it to the detriment of the United States. So there's a lot we don't know, but I still think there's a lot of stuff that we do know if you know how the FBI operates and how the Justice Department operates.
There were other ways to get to these documents and to put them back in their proper place if they're not in there now. Right. What did you think about the release of that photo? And this is President. So what did you think of it first? And then I'll show you what the former president thought of it. What did you think?
I was a little shocked to see classified photos in the folders that, you know, the outer covers of these classified documents being photographed and put out on national television.
Oh,
you know,
he's going to say, if they're so serious, I can't believe they took photos of it.
You know, even the color of these covers can give away things. And so, maybe, you know, you don't have X-ray vision to see what's inside of them, but just showing the world the different colored label, you know, the outer covers of them is passing information to our enemies. I don't get it.
Interesting. So really, the former president was probably his most specific and outspoken, and he's said a lot about this on Truth Social. But here's what he said at 8:38 a.m. Terrible the way the FBI during the raid of Mar-a-Lago threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, quote, perhaps pretending it was me that did it, and then started taking pictures of them for the public to see, though they wanted to keep them secret, question mark. Luckily, he says, declassified. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to think that the FBI is acting in good faith here. And look, some of the ex-president's problems are of his own making. His mouth gets him in trouble. He says things. I think this case is unprosecutable the way it's set up right now. But, you know, this whole case is a case of overreach, I think. And despite the president's obstinance, despite all his, you know, all the recalcitrance there, this is a dispute about documents. This is a dispute that was still in discussion at the time that the FBI conducted a raid. I would look at the FBI and say, hey, you're acting in good faith. If I didn't see so many leaks going out right now, that's one of the things that's most disturbing to those of us that know how the FBI operates and the DOJ operates. And you feel like, gosh, we'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but what about all this stuff that's just leaking out and building the case out the back door, if you will?
Yeah, no, it clearly is. This is being fought in pretty open court right now. And every time there's a response from the Trump side, you see, you know, something like this picture of these documents strewn around the floor. Chris Swecker, thank you very much. Good to have you here, sir.
There's nothing funnier than like these dudes who have used their entire lives like Karl Rove, as a matter of fact, to do some of the most heinous shit, sell their soul to the fucking devil, and you know, try to maintain America's top position as like this imperialist, bloodthirsty superpower, turning around and caving and trying to defend some of the most asinine shit from Donald Trump that is just personal incompetence. Like so easily fucking dealt with too. Like they could just easily deal with it. Trump could just not be a fucking dickhead.
Liability here. I'm not certain it necessarily yet is the president. You know, having read that document,
oh, there it is.
The FBI developed evidence after they received the boxes, the 15 boxes in January. They developed evidence, meaning that they had somebody who told them those weren't all the boxes that had classified material.
Mm-hmm. I just want to point something out, by the way, with what that other guy said. That photo that we just saw of the photos of all the classified information, that would have never seen the light of day if there wasn't such serious public outcry and public backlash about this investigation championed by Trump himself. So they asked for it, and when they got parts of what they asked for, they're like, how could you do this? How could you release this? Hilarious in and of itself.
Responsive to your subpoena, and here they are, and we didn't keep copies of them. And they say in the filing, the Department of Justice and the FBI say they have multiple sources who said to them there are more classified documents, and they're not just in the storage room, and some of them may be have moved from the storage room elsewhere. And remember, on June 3rd, the FBI Director of Counterintelligence, who's leading the group of people who are accepting the document, says, can I look through these other boxes here? And the president's lawyer says, no, we've already conducted the diligent search. The custodian who signed that certification saying there are no more classified documents is in trouble, because when they do the raid on August 8th, they say twice as many documents were classified remaining in the boxes in the storage closet than they picked up from them voluntarily on the 3rd of June. So somebody's going to get in trouble. My hope is that this thing goes quiet until after the election, and that and that we see more transparency at the appropriate time, meaning the affidavit and how they developed this, but these additional sources of evidence. But they've got at least 3 instances where somebody inside Mar-a-Lago said, January boxes those weren't all the classified documents. What they turned over to you on June 3rd is not all the classified documents, and some of the documents are no longer in that room. They've been moved elsewhere in Mar-a-Lago, and some of them have always been elsewhere in Mar-a-Lago than the storage room.
Yeah, it obviously begs a lot of questions. Why remove certain documents? My biggest question is what was in those documents, and why would they want to hold on to them, specifically those documents? Why would they want to hold those back? But one of the problems is that's its own situation that the DOJ is investigating, and the Trump side has their lawyers and their feelings about what was rightfully his and able to take. But it's just interesting.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear on this. None of these government documents are his to have taken. I agree with the deputy director who said that a lot of the former president's problems are of his own creation. You can, under the Presidential Records Act of 1978, you cannot take original documents out of the White House with you when you leave the White House, whether you're the president of the United States or any of his aides. No, it's forbidden under the law. Now, there are no criminal penalties for violating it, but why the former president packed up 20, nearly 30 some odd boxes of material when he had no right to do so? And that's what the government asserts, incidentally, in this filing. They say the former president asked for the return of the documents because, as he said in his filing, they were created during his administration, and the response of the government in their filing was that's evidence that they aren't his. If they were developed in the White House during his time of presidency under the Presidential Records Act, they belong to the government, not to him.
So, there are. I don't know. Mike Davis, you worked in the White House, so you have experience with this. You understand the classification.
Yes, Karl Rove is the reasonable Republican neocon, guys. He does this shit all the time. Don't be fucking duped. He's a war criminal just as bad as Trump, if not worse.
They say he may have stole or misused government property under the Presidential Records Act and other statutes. That's just not possible. There's a 2012 decision by an Obama judge that former presidents can take personal records with them when they leave office. So there goes the obstruction allegations. It's legally impossible to obstruct non-crimes like they're trying to investigate here.
What do you say to that, Carl?
Well, I'm not certain that that's accurate. Again, I'm not
Yeah,
a lawyer.
what the
Mark
fuck?
Davis
What
is,
are
but the
the
decision in question, the Obama judge decision, was involving, as I understand it, audio tapes of interviews conducted by an author of President Obama during his time in office.
That's
the tapes
so different.
Were in the possession of the author, who was doing an oral history of President Obama, and there was a FOIA request to turn them over, and the court held those were not governmental documents; they were the property of the author. And
yes.
Of the oral history, and they were in his possession, not in President Obama's possession.
And it was adequately,
it was
adequately fucking taken.
That are created by a White House during the time of a presidency are anything but government documents. You know,
and we know that that's not the case for Trump, because some of the documents that he had quite literally were top secret. Top secret, like classified intel of people who are working with the espionage, people who are working with fucking clandestine operations.
The former president,
the HCS classification shows that they were literally just like,
I want you to return all those documents, and we're going to get a quick answer on that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I got to go, but it's interesting. Everyone remembers with Hillary Clinton that she also didn't turn over all the documents, because then the FBI found that several thousand work-related documents were not turned over. And then we were told that that was not, nobody would prosecute the case based on it. She also they selectively gave documents over and then, quote, cleaned their devices in such a way as to preclude a complete forensic recovery. So we've been down this road
classified
before.
Material. And classified material was included in all of that. And classified material passed over a private email server network that she created.
All right. Thank you so much, Carl. Great to have you with us.
You bet.
We'll have more news on that as we are waiting for that new filing. Let's go to the White House and the briefing room where Peter Doocy is asking a question. Let's watch.
States. What specifically is the president doing about this?
So we just talked about the day, the overdose awareness day that we are observing today. I just laid out what the second gentleman and others are doing within this administration, you know, we are going to continue to focus on the steps that we're taking, that we have taken. You have the $80 million that DHS just announced today on drug prevention, and the president has taken many steps. He's made this a priority to make sure that we attack a very dangerous drugs, serious drugs in this country.
But 300 overdoses a day now. We know how the fentanyl is coming into the country. It's coming right across the southern border. The DEA administrator says so. So when is the president going to do something?
So I will say that you have seen a 200% increase of fentanyl seizures, which means that we are doing the job of catching.
I can't go back as a live stream.
200% increase, just
and
again,
Americans' life
seizures.
expectancies are going down at a rate not
I was
seen
posting
in
an
a
Instagram
century,
story.
and part of that is being driven by drug overdoses. So what is the president going to do?
And we agree.
Oh,
we see those
that's a
same
Zoom
numbers
to
as
fix
well.
focus.
But the fact that we are securing the border,
They zoomed on him to fix the focus.
levels of funding from DHS so they can stop illicit drugs from entering into the country. The fact that it's not just drug traffickers that we're dealing with as well. We're stopping financiers.
Yeah, drugs that are pouring in from the border, 96% of them are coming through regular ports of entry, okay? Like ports. Or they're coming in shipping containers. They're not fucking coming in the bags of otherwise law-abiding abuelas who are just trying to fucking survive. This is not my take. This is the Department of Homeland Security. Like, this is information that you could find on your own if you fucking Google searched it, okay? It's just so easily dismissed by the very institutions that these people defend. Like ICE's own research shows that it's not coming from random fucking people sneaking these drugs in. So I don't know what to tell you. If you're going against the DHS at that point, what the fuck are you doing?
3,000 arrests in the first 3 months of launching an aggressive campaign to combat the multi-billion-dollar human smuggling industry. When it comes to what's happening with drug overdose, this is something that the president cares about. This is something that the president has laid out a plan to make sure that our kids, our babies, our young Americans here in this country are not continuing to suffer from that, are not continuing to be given or access to drugs. This is something that's incredibly important to this president. So to say that we're not doing enough, Peter, is just falsely, categorically wrong, especially on a day that we are observing what needs to be done. And
Oh my God.
we have announced, DHS has announced $80 million to prevent that. So we are doing the work. And here's the thing, Peter, if Republicans want to help us stop overdose and stop our kids getting overdose because of these dangerous drugs, because of these fentanyl that we're seeing in the streets, we're happy to work with them. But they're not. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Good. No, okay.
Okay. Karl Rove stuck around to respond to that. Former Deputy Chief of Staff for President George W. Bush and Fox News.
Okay, it's boring. I don't care about the fucking fentanyl shit. Like, all right, getting back to this. Even Steve Ducey, that other fucking chinless douchebag's father, had some choice words for Kristi Noem, which, by the way, I'm, of course, firmly on the side of the people of South Dakota and Kristi Noem in general. I've talked about this before. This is my kryptonite. Let's take a look.
It comes down to, why did he have all that secret stuff at Mar-a-Lago? I know his team has said that they declassified it, but that's news to the agencies that those documents belong to. And Governor, he had apparently 3 classified documents in his desk. And then the stuff, as Brian detailed on the floor, it shows 5 yellow folders marked top secret, and another one that says secret SCI, which means sensitive compartmentalized information. Those are the biggest secrets in the world. Why would he, and apparently the former president went through them in January, why wouldn't he say, oh, you know what? I really need to turn that back over. Why did he have all that stuff at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, that's why I think it's important that this is transparent and that we do have someone who's outside of the DOJ looking at this.
Oh, that's why you need transparency.
And talking to people. What is this information? We don't know what.
It's like, hey, we don't understand why this person murdered very openly someone, right? Why do you think they very openly murdered someone? And when the investigation was happening, they were like, oh, yeah, no, I totally did murder someone. Here, I'll explain to you why I did it. And then they found out that, like, no, he actually murdered multiple people. Well, why did he do that? Why did he do such a thing? And then you go, well, actually, I think the criminal justice system is very biased, so we need a random outside person with favorable opinions towards the murderer to fucking turn around and conduct a separate investigation. We'll never know. It's the transparency that we'll get from an outside party. The fuck do you mean?
What was in there? We don't know. I believe President Trump declassified all this information. Let's find out really what the process is, what is right, what's precedent that other presidents have followed, and make sure that this is done correctly.
Governor, I don't think any president has ever carted off that many documents to their house after they left the presidency.
God damn it. Even fucking Papa Douchey's up here. Why is their take? We don't know what the secrets are, and they say it like we should be told what all the classified info is. The irony is that they do that so that they can turn around and be like, I can't believe you revealed this information. If you revealed what is in the secret documents, then that must mean they're not secret at all. They think it's like this funny double bind, right? They personally think that that'll like own everyone if they are able to like get more truth on it or shed more light on what it is. But as days go by, and new details emerge, details that the Trump camp has actively sought to reveal when they could have revealed it themselves, by the way, whether it be not affidavit, but the Trump camp could have always revealed from the day one the active cooperation that they had with the DOJ. The Trump camp could have revealed from day one that, what the search warrant looked like, right? And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They were like, come on, reveal it. And then the DOJ would reveal it, and they'd be like, oh, fuck. Okay, well, here, look here, listen now, maybe things are a little bit different than you thought it was. Like, and they would just change the fucking narrative. They would shift goalposts and try to reframe the narrative in a way that like makes them look good. But because of that, you just kind of run out of options at a certain point. There's only so much you can do.